Okay, I'll call to order the January 20th meeting of the Walsh County Commission. We'll stand and say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's this.
Phone, isn't it?
Yeah,
Telemarketer call that.
or is it Christie?
Hello?
Christina, sorry, Zoom won't work for me, so I'm just gonna have to call in on Zoom.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I can try and send you the link again.
You said just try sending it to my personal email.
Sure.
If that'll work. Oh, wait, I might have just got it. Hmm.
What is your personal email, Christy?
Christie Britnell@forcom.com. I think it's working here now. It looks like it's finally going through. Must just be really sluggish. Recording in progress. Yeah,
Okay,
gotcha.
Okay.
okay, bye,
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, do we have any additions to the agenda? Denny? No. Amy? No. Paul?
No.
Christie?
No,
I got just an update on the water board, our meeting with Minto. So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda and the bills? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I,
Motion carries. Employee time. Nobody. Hey, we're a little early, but Ron, you're up.
It's Dave.
So, what is Dave's last name? Dave or you on? So there's a Greg dwelling on and then,
Yeah, Craig's, yeah, one of the,
okay,
okay.
Yep.
Sure. Morning. I have, an update on our jail project. I have, Elevatis, our architect is on Zoom, and in person today we have from construction engineers, Lance Munson and Ben Matson. So I'll have, Elevatis start. Greg, are you on?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I had
There he is.
problems unmuting there. Good morning, Greg Whaling, project manager with
Turn up the
Elevatis.
volume a little,
That's us.
or is it us?
I'll see.
Can you hear me?
Better.
Okay, I turned it up.
Okay, yeah. My name's Greg Whaling. I'm the project manager for Elevatis for the jail project. And I couple things we wanted to discuss today was project schedule, along with the possibility of putting out early bid packages, and what that what that looks like. And that's something that we would want to go through and tell you how that goes about, and what comes with that in terms of not knowing final budget price or final cost of the project as we're bidding. So I can, if can you see the screen if I share the plan?
Yes.
Is that something? Okay. Let me share. And it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay. Okay. Try it now.
Okay, it looks like that's gonna work. Okay, so did that come up for you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So I just wanted to right now show you where we stand with the plan and how it is located on the site and connected to the courthouse. Here is the courthouse, the existing mechanical room for the courthouse in the back here, and then we have added on to the building to the what's that, north.
Yes.
And
North, yes.
and we've left this space between the rear of the courthouse and to the north side of the courthouse, and that is for code purposes and fire, so we don't have to do fire ratings on parts of the courthouse, and so that's a strategic determination there. So that there's like this will be over 10 feet, minimum is 10 feet. So this will be at least 10 feet of a space. What we have as far as the layout of the building, we have a 2-car vehicle sally port on the east side, and that'll come off of the street in and then back out. As far as the building siting, we've located the building so the vehicle sally port is it's at least 20 feet off of the property line. There's a requirement for setback, so that this is located 20 feet off of the property line. And so just running through the interior a little bit, we've got a sally port coming in from the vehicle sally port. There's a breathalyzer room. If an inmate is combative, they can be put in just right off the vehicle sally port into a drop cell and controlled right away upon arriving. We have 3 holding cells and a padded cell. And then there's a group holding out in the booking area. And then this is the booking desk. There's fingerprint and photo. We have a changing room, which is we call it dress in, dress out. And so whether they're coming or going, this is where they can change, and there's a shower in there, and if they need to clean up. There's inmate property storage. So anything taken off of them is stored in this area. We have to the west is the Chase building, so that's up west of this location. Here is a Sallyport coming in, and that is for officers that are coming in and out of the building that might be coming from the Chase building. There's the jail commander office here. There's a break room, and then we've got several rooms along the way here: a janitor's closet, security electronics, electronics room, inmate toilet, a see, video arraignment, and then and there's a medical cart to go adjacent to the exam room and record storage in the back of the exam room. So that's kind of what's the booking area. Coming off this way, this is so from the parking lot, there's work release is at this entrance, and we have Sallyport coming in. There's lockers for if somebody has work supplies or something, they can put in a locker, or uniforms, things like that. There's a changing room, and so they can go in and change into their clothes for work release. And then there's a female work release, 2 beds in here. So there's a bunk right here, 2 beds and some toilets and shower. And then this location is the men's work release, and there are 2 sets of bunk beds, or four occupancy maximum here. And then we have in this area from the outside, somebody who is either like a bail bondsman or an attorney can come in this door and go into the interview room with the inmate coming from the other side. So somebody wants, if they're bail bonds, or if an attorney needs to talk to their client, they can do it in this location. So they never get into the building. The bail bondsman or the attorney, they never get into the building per se. They stay in this non-secure side, and then the inmate comes from the other side. We've got a kitchen located here, more of a warming kitchen than a cooking kitchen. And then there's laundry facility here. We've got access to the there's not a dock here, but it's for deliveries. They can come in this entrance here, bring everything in, and either go to wherever they need to distribute items to. There's a new mechanical room this feeds the jail. This will feed the courthouse. So two different mechanical rooms. Then we have an elevator here that this connects to the courthouse up on the upper level. So bringing an inmate or inmates to court they bring them down this corridor to this point and then up and then over into what we would line this up and go through the one of the windows, cut a new doorway into that to access the courtroom. As far as the housing goes, we have one control point. So there's a person in here that from this point, they've got a view. All of this is glass all around here. So they've got a view through into the day room of all of these cells all around. And there are six different day rooms. So you've got different different classifications, whether it's a low level crime versus a murder or something like that, and you can classify people and house them appropriately. There's also a couple beds for trustees that might work in the kitchen or laundry. They are separated from the rest of the housing, and there's a indoor-outdoor recreation space at this point, and that'll have access to daylight and also fresh air through a set of windows on either side, and then a coiling door that will be able to be open and protected by protective security screening, but that'll allow fresh air in, and you don't have to take people outside to recreate, which is a requirement. So this suffices for indoor and outdoor recreation. There's a program space here that can be used not only by the inmates, but it could be outside for outside use too. We've got a door coming off the outside that would feed into this space, and so multiple uses available here. That's really, and this is about 21,800 square feet. And I guess that's basically the layout. Is there anybody have any specific questions about the plan or anything?
Amy?
Yes, I do. I have a couple questions for you, Greg. So
Okay.
that space between the courthouse and the jail, that's gonna be open?
This would be open, yes.
No concerns with snow or issues with the building? I mean, just from,
I think that's a Jason question, but it is going to be 10 feet. So there is room for a bobcat or something in that area.
and then this elevator to the courthouse, so there would be a walkway over that then?
Yes, where you see these dash lines here, that would be up at the level of the courtroom. That walkway would go over that space, over this open space here.
Okay, and then I've kind of brought this up before, so this might be a good time to ask you, but has there been a plan or a consideration of going south versus north with this? My question being is Chase Building declared going to be because with this space, is there room to build a sheriff's office, or will the Chase Building, that's the plan, is we're going in there? Otherwise, I think of the south side. I mean, a few of us have talked about, we understand the current sheriff's office is not capable of being a jail, but could it be capable of, taking out the jail and being able to renovate for office space only? I know that the health department, social services would be interested in the Chase Building, so I really don't love the idea of us forcing ourselves into one only option for this when it comes to the future of the sheriff's office. That's what I'm thinking about.
Let's see. So we did look at, well, we had several options. Unfortunately, I don't have all of them handily on the ready here. But we did look at going out this direction. We really didn't have enough space between the south side of the courthouse and the next building. I'm sorry, I don't
Emergency
remember.
management building.
Emergency management, and there to get this, basically that kind of length, flip it and go this way. We were, I believe we were touching the emergency management building.
So the plans before that were promoted then were taller, I mean, they were different, obviously this is longer, is that what I'm hearing in terms, cause I think we did have a connection on the admin building on a previous plan that way. Which I don't know, cause I'm looking at this going, as long as your sheriff's office is there, I mean, I understand it's a ways away, but you're transporting from up there over to here.
I think the thought was, no matter where we're going to be, either in the Chase or someplace else, there's going to be a walk or some sort of a commute either way. And I was all right with it going where it was, because either way, there's gonna be, places to get in and out and parking around that facility, that it wasn't gonna be that big of a difference between the two. If we went, renovated the office we're in, or if we go to the Chase building or something different, there was still gonna be a commute either way, and I'm fine with walking or the whatever, because the jail part is going to be separate anyway, so there's gonna be a walk no matter how close you are.
So last question, but essentially this plan divides us into, we either are likely gonna be in the Chase building for a sheriff's office, there's nowhere to build a sheriff's office onto this, would be my assumption.
Correct.
This, just as far as location, so you understand, the parking lot right now is about at the edge of the building right here. So the parking lot for the east of the Chase building is basically down to the face of this building. So we would have to, we would end up putting a sidewalk along here and narrowing up the parking lot by a few feet. Which it's already fairly wide.
That 10-foot gap, part of the reasoning was the courthouse being designated a historical building. We're gonna be running into all kinds of code issues with that. And the fire issue too. That's why they chose that gap.
And maybe Ben
Yeah.
can talk a little bit about that, but building next to an existing building, especially one as old as this courthouse, presents some issues too.
Yeah, I mean, you've got structure you're trying to stay away from, so you're not undermining the existing building. The big thing would be, I think, all the glass that you would have if you get too close. You'd have to fire rate between one building to the other, because you've got different building types and everything here connecting on to one another, so the historical piece as well is something I think everyone wants to avoid going down that road. It could delay things substantially. Was another issue in the footings? Yeah, it's just saying, you could undermine it, so if you gotta underpin or do something to that. You can do it, it's gonna be more work and more expensive.
And this keeps, some of the natural light from into the courthouse that you would lose if you butted them up against each other.
So that whatever entryway, walkway, whatever we call it, that connects the courthouse to the jail. And you said the second floor is where they're gonna go. Does that go all the way down to the ground? Or is it just
No.
it's just a walking?
Yeah, it would cantilever out over to the courthouse. So it would be up at the courthouse floor level and open below. Yeah, open
So
below.
he can get the Bobcat under it to clean the snow. Okay, that was my
Yeah.
concern. So you get a lot of snow in that left side of that.
Yeah, you're not blocked out of this area here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Ron, remind me, on the original plan, I think the kitchen was gonna be a full kitchen, and he said this is a warming kitchen. Am I remembering that correctly?
I think we're going to build it where we can do some of the cooking stuff in there. But right now, with having the developmental center, having them available, the cost is such that we can't make meals for what they are. They can bring them in for, so, we're not gonna leave ourselves short suited like Botno did, where we don't have a kitchen. But we would have the ability to cook and prepare in the kitchen if we needed to, but the plan was to get them, continue to get them from Life Skills.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
One other question on that corridor, are there any active exits right now in this courthouse that would be affected by this? In terms of, obviously, would be more first or second floor, I just am looking on the north and east sides of the courthouse with that corridor, there's not really much for, that people are using.
We would be taking that parking lot in the back where, some of the people park, off to, on the east side of the building.
Okay,
And then there is a door that they go into, and I don't think, we would be covering that door, but there would be no parking lot there anymore.
so where would there would be a designated ideal staff entrance somewhere, would it be on the northwest side or above up there, is that?
We would continue to use that south, entrance.
You're pointing to it, right?
So door right
There.
Oh, south, wait, south, that's south, yeah.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
south, yes.
okay,
By the highway department.
Yes, by the highway department,
okay,
yes,
that's where staff would go.
yes.
And Ron, you're just saying that basically your plan with anyone is even if your sheriff's office stays up where it is, you would then be walking or driving them around to the Sally Port,
Yes,
or I guess you wouldn't be bringing.
we wouldn't,
I
we
understand
wouldn't, we
now.
wouldn't
Yeah,
be
you
bringing
don't
it
have
to
to
the
get
sheriff's
prepared.
office. But the intoxilizer, everything is gonna be in the jail, so we wouldn't have them over at the sheriff's office
Right.
at all anyway.
Yeah, okay,
That's the nice thing with the Sally Port, you drive your squad car, right? They're inside the building and can go to court through the skyway, everything over to the courthouse, and they never really leave the structure.
I'm sure, makes sense, yep. Paul?
Is there a 20-foot setback on the north property line? You talked about the 20 foot.
Ye- There, we're beyond that.
Oh,
mean, there-
yes,
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah,
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right,
I don't have the dimension, but we are well beyond that.
okay, that's fine.
I don't quote me, but I think it's more like 40 on the north side there.
Christie, do you have any?
Yeah.
Christie, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Anybody else got any questions for him?
Do we have an access to get behind those, the cell blocks? Or the plumbing and
Yeah.
the heating and everything? That
Yes.
chase area with a
Yeah.
small box?
So this space around the back, that allows you access to all the plumbing, and any of the, mechanical or electrical, components on the back of the cell. And then the same thing, on this side. So you can go through a chase through a locked door here, and then somebody can do all their repairs and work with tools and everything without the threat of, somebody, if older jails have, little chases
One of
in the
jails
front.
They said that they wish they would have had an access door just to get a little bobcat in that area.
Oh, yeah, on the building itself,
Yeah.
yes.
Valley City, I think it was.
Right. And I don't know that we have a utility room, designated that's big enough to have.
What is on the front of the laundry area on the east side there that? No, not there, I'm sorry, maybe it's the kitchen. What's that door, right? Oh, that's
This
not
one?
a door, that's just a wall that's. diagonal, so the laundry, will that be a sidewalk there, or like you're saying that's an access point for delivery, like an outside access point? So
Right.
that won't be covered, but it would be a sidewalk connected,
Yeah,
I'm-
this would be part of the, and it hasn't been fully developed yet of exactly how we're gonna do it, but there would be an area here for, whether it's a box truck or anything making deliveries, could pull up to this point and, they could ramp, items off, whether it's, food carts and, full of, warm, so they can warm food or deliveries of, canned goods and all that stuff, the food deliveries. They can bring that into this area and then into the kitchen. And we haven't worked out total circulation of how each of these spaces are gonna totally work. So that's,
and what's the other cat? What did they mean by wishing they could get a bobcat?
Just for servicing all those different cells, but that, if I remember right, that was a two-story.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Inside the building.
It was two stories, so,
Oh,
just getting a lift in there so they could work on that
we
second.
don't have that.
All this will be accessible, because since it's one level, so
I mean, this will be, we don't have the exact height, but this will be one row, one level of cells, and then there will be a wall on the top front of this that will go up a certain height. Maybe it could be, 15 feet high, and this left open to the structure above. But if it's that high, we don't have to worry about anybody, getting up there. But you could bring, whether it's back here in the Chase, there you can have a lift that you could run in there and get up high to the different ductwork or conduits or things like that. You could do the same thing, change out lights here. You have the ability to run a lift in to these spaces.
This is how many usable beds?
46.
This one,
Right, 46?
46 or 48.
46 in cells, yeah.
Yeah, we have 46. So I guess one other thing we wanted to discuss, if we're done talking with on the plan itself.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I do have one question before we move on. The elevator access into the courtroom, I understood it to be said it was into the courtroom. Is that correct? Directly into the courtroom?
This,
Not directly, Christie. It goes
Okay.
up, it goes up to the floor, it connects. And then there's a walkway and a door before you get into the courtroom itself. So kind of a corridor with a bench and before you're able to go into the courtroom. So no one can access that door, not the public or that through that corridor, only the jail staff or a deputy.
Okay, so my question is, have we looked at the inside of the courtroom to see where that door would be coming, where they'd be accessing? I'm just worried about, where
Yes.
exactly would it come in?
We have.
Okay.
It is 3 windows, is it 3 windows back? It goes right in the gallery part of it. It doesn't disturb the well itself, the portion up front. It goes back by the gallery. It's from the back of the courtroom, it is the second window up, that we would access.
Okay, that sounds good. That was my concern, so we weren't in the front of the courtroom. So, okay, thank you.
We quickly ruled that out.
Good.
The judge was definitely not in favor of anything in her area, so we made sure that wasn't gonna be an issue.
So
Okay.
Ron, one window that they're losing then?
Yes.
Or-
Yes.
Right. Yeah, we would put a door in this one here.
Okay.
any other
Okay.
questions?
I have one other thing and it would, and regarding schedule and bidding and how just see what kind of appetite you all have for this process. One of the things that in talking with construction engineers is timing of the bidding the project and getting the building enclosed for the winter and what that looks like as far as timing goes. The perimeter of this building is going to be a precast panel, which is the intent is that it is looking in color and how we design it will look similar to the limestone courthouse. So with the precast panels, there are lead times involved in that to get the materials in time, and then of course the time to erect it. So what we've proposed to do and is to do a early structural and a structural and civil package, and what that will entail would be the precast panels would be part of that, and of course the steel framing that would be within the structure, along with the site some of the site work. In order to do that, we need to put a package out, be finished somewhere towards the end of March, and put a package out to bid so it can be fabricated, especially the precast, get in line with the precaster and get precast panels fabricated and on site in early fall, I guess. And you guys can let me know whether I'm off on the schedule a little bit, but and then what that does, that gives us a cost for the civil and structural, and then we would need to follow that up with the bidding of the architectural and the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and the detention equipment contract. So the balance of the project. So the question there is, you will, once we get the number for the precast, I guess there's not much, you can't go back because if the project is overbid, we bought precast panels.
Could I jump in for just a second on this? So
Sure.
On our end, you know, on the pricing and then the construction of this, we've got multiple checks we use to make sure that you guys should have a comfort level with this. So in the very short term, they're gonna turn this set of drawings over to us, and Lance is gonna start plugging numbers into this, so we can look at this and say, we think we're tracking on your budget right now with what we know. These aren't real bids, but these are our years of industry experience. These are what we know concrete should cost, what we know steel should cost, those types of numbers. We're gonna do that in the next couple of weeks. Greg is talking about here with an early bid package then. So say he gets that to us in the end of March, we would then use the month of April to actually get real bids for those select contracts we were talking about. So precast, concrete, steel, those types of things. In the meantime, they'll also have continued to develop those drawings with more details. So instead of just, you know, a couple sheets, now maybe we got 30 or 40 sheets of drawings, so we can do more detailed estimate. We might not get firm numbers, but we might be able to go to, you know, the painter and the flooring guy and the ceiling guy and get budgets for all those things at that same time. So we have more information and more ability to come back to you and say, we're really confident where these numbers are gonna come in down the road. So, what we would do then is come to you in May with an initial set of numbers. We call it bid package 1, with a guaranteed maximum price for, say, half the value of the jail roughly, given the contracts we're talking about. Asking for your approval on that without knowing the full and final numbers, but confidence in where the numbers will come in. And then they would finish developing the drawings for some of those more technical things, the mechanical, the electrical, and all your finishes. They pick up paint colors and signs and all those things that we don't need right away to be North Dakota schedule critical. And then come back to you a second time and ask for the final full GMP for the entire project. And then, of course, there's the mechanical component of this buildings we're sitting in right now that has to be planned out and figured out in that whole timeline too as well. But that's kind of like the big picture, I guess. We do it all the time. It turns out every time, I guess, pretty much, that we can come with a budget and be comfortable. We work with the architectural team to know where we're gonna come in, so.
Paul?
So that was the question I was just gonna ask, is do you have an updated like engineer's estimate? And what you just said is you'll have one by the end of March.
So,
Did I hear that right?
So 2 meetings from now, we'll have the SD, the schematic design set price. That's like our initial opinion of cost based on what we have. And then at sometime in April, we would come with the next set of drawings. With that portion being completely designed and the portion being design development, which is, one step under completely designed. At that time, we would say, we'd like you to commit on bid package 1. Here's our update on everything. Well, so you'd be 2 price iterations from where we're sitting right now. You'd just be still 1 iteration from being 100% guaranteed maximum price. So like Ben stated, if we really wanna try and run the jail and get the winter work in, it's likely that the courthouse mechanical won't be very far along. So I think part of our message would likely be, if you're committing to say a $5 million mechanical project for the courthouse, you might just have to say, and that's what it's gonna need to be. So if that comes in at 7 million on first mechanical design for the courthouse, you would just say, we can't do that, we committed 5, that's what's gotta be. So all things we'll talk about in way more detail as we present our first set of numbers, and you'll have a better feel for how much cushion there is. But that's really the biggest thing, is making sure that you have that cushion. You can say, looks like we're on budget and we've got a $4 million cushion in case something comes over. We feel confident, as long as we don't add any big scope, they'll be fine. So we'll be able to speak with more confidence and more direction in a month when we come back and give you that first detailed price estimate.
Danny?
At what point do we have to start writing checks? Be after bid pack 1 was approved, would be when Ben would start, billing to get things rolling. Cause as soon as we get that approved, we're gonna be writing contracts and get precast cut loose and doing all those things to make sure we wanna get as much concrete, if not all the concrete, in place before it freezes. Precast will likely be setting into the winter. But if we can get the underground stuff done, so we're not heating concrete, thawing ground, that's that's for sure 6-figure numbers difference.
yeah, it'd probably be May-ish, June-ish by the time you've seen construction invoices. Obviously, your design team is working now and you're sure paying them.
So when you mentioned the mechanics of the courthouse, are you talking heating and all that? That way you had planned and combining or
The
whatever?
heating and air conditioning project, yes.
That was my question. We originally had talked about that those would be for both spaces, but now you're saying there's a separate for the courthouse and there's a separate for the. So the dollar amount that we were talking about, 5 million?
I think we said 5 million in it.
Wasn't that part of what we were discussing was going to be for the jail itself, so now we're having separate dollars for each. I mean, it's an additional 5 million for this beyond the jail, or those two are combined in that pricing?
See, we haven't gone far enough in the mechanical design to know that question for sure. You know, they might have shared boilers or a chiller that serves both of them. But that project, I think, would be a separate 5 million. Probably, if you can shed a little of that 5 million, if there is shared equipment, great, but I mean, the majority of that, the cost for this building is gonna be the infrastructure needed to get. If we haven't even talked about it yet, like whether we're trying to run ductwork, you know, or the ceilings, or punching holes next to your walls, like. I feel like that is still just, it's like 5 million for mechanical, and that's the level of detail that's at right now.
Paul?
I'm a little confused. I thought the one plant was gonna run both buildings. Is that not right?
No, I think that was initially the thought, but what they're getting at is getting that heat into this building. But yeah, that was initially the plan, was the 5 million to cover both structures.
But that's not the plan now.
I think that's what we're looking at.
I think they're working through that. I'm
It's
not
fine.
sure that they're yet.
Jason?
I'm not sure where they're on the designs from this aspect, but I know ESG group when we weren't sure the jail's gonna happen, we had them looking at doing this. And they totally feel that they could use the same plant that runs through the courthouse, have that portion working and getting done, and then tie into the courthouse, into the new jail project and push things through. I know I put those together with Dave and Gavin to talk. I don't know anything else after that.
Yeah, cause we met with them, we were talking about ducts, heating, wiring and everything else, so, yeah.
They have a pretty good plan through ESG on how everything through the courthouse would be able to go through and work.
I think we'll have a better idea, in a month on where everything's gonna go with that. So I don't know that we're fast and hard on any of that right now, but we're working through that.
Yeah, I mean, step one really is building footprint, which has been the majority of our conversation thus far, because until you know where your building's gonna be, it's kind of too early to start talking about, you know, plumbing and heating. So I'd, kind of second that is, there's more to come. And we just like that discussion is after we say, yes, the building as it sits works.
Paul?
Well, you brought up the financing, and I guess I'm just a little concerned, you know. Do we have the financing in place? Are we gonna have the financing in place? I mean, if we start writing checks in April, what, you know, the amount, the money, the cash we have on hand isn't, you know, I don't know how long that'll take us, but you know, I guess the timing of all of that is a concern. And, you know, have we got a plan for that, or?
Well, doesn't our audit and all that sort of hinder our boring
That's part of my concern.
procedures or whatever?
We can't secure the financing without updated audits, and we're. And I just don't know where that money's gonna come from until we can secure that financing.
I know, they're working through the audit part. Of that, and, I agree that audit hinges on the financing part. Chrissy, do you wanna talk about that at all?
Sure, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yes, Paul, valid concern. I have the same concern as well. We are working through the audit. I guess we were getting close. I believe the audit work maybe has slowed up a bit because of the heavy, you know, with the tax season. Christina got pulled that way. But Christina, maybe you can help me answer this too, but we're kind of on the tail end of providing documents to Eide Bailly for the audit. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, for the 2022 audit.
Right, and then once we get through the 2022, they have stated that 23 and 24 should go pretty quick, is my understanding.
Yeah, that's the hope.
That's kind of what they stated, right? Or,
Yeah, that's correct.
you know, the hard thing here is, yes, we need to finish getting a few documents to Eid Bailey, is my understanding. But then we are at Eid Bailey's mercy. And I am hopeful with them knowing that we have this project, that they're gonna put us on the front burner and get this done for us. So I would say we're through the most difficult part of the audit, is how I look at it. You know, we're just getting it wrapped up for 2022 soon. I don't want to speak for Christina, but I'm hoping within this next month. Do you think that's a fair statement? I mean, we really didn't get to talk about it. Christina and I didn't get to talk about it prior to the meeting. But do you think we'll be able to have all the documents to them within the next month so they can wrap up for 2022?
Yeah, I think so.
Mr.
And
Chair,
we do have some starter funds. You know, we have that money that we have put away. I don't remember exactly how much is in the account, but 3.5 to 4 million, or 3.5 maybe right now. I'm not exactly sure.
Capital projects. Amy?
so, approximately when did Eid Bailey start for us, Christina, with the 2022?
Last in 2024. So they started over a year ago.
For the 2022, so it's realistic that even if we get done with 2022, they're gonna be done with 2 years of audits in 2 months.
No, I would say not in 2 months, no.
So are we gonna be, I'm saying like, you know, signing checks is one thing, but it's gonna depend on how big of those checks need to be to keep things moving. I that, in my opinion, that's the answer for the architect and whoever is we're gonna be able to move based on the amount that's needed. When you have a $24 million project, is 3.4 gonna be enough to be able to, when we don't really know when these audits are gonna be completed totally?
I was just gonna say, when we come in February with numbers, at that point, we could probably project, you know, based on, say, a May start date, what our billings would be over the
Okay.
course of the 18-month construction period. So we could come with what we call a drawdown schedule, and what we
That'd be helpful.
project. It's a guess, you know,
Yeah.
but it's, you know, we could at least know at the end of 26, maybe you spent $6 million or something like that.
We're in a position we don't have much control right now. Anything else? You guys need anything else from us today?
No,
Okay.
not today. We'll be back again, next month, for another update. We continue to work weekly, have a Zoom weekly, and we're working through a lot of these issues, but a lot of hard work to get us where we're at, and we're continuing to work on the plan moving forward and have something more permanent, or a little bit easier to understand, and some more numbers for next month. So we just wanted to give you an update on where we're at so far, and we got a lot of work to do, but we'll continue to work at it.
Mr. Chair, outside of Ron, I think I would appreciate, I don't know if the other commissioners, but if you could just give us an update on the current jail for every meeting. Just
Sure.
so we know what it's different, but at least so we have an idea of what's happening.
Sure, continue to work on hiring, not a lot of applicants right now, so we're working with Tanya to see what our options are that way. But as of now, we're continuing to take our inmates down the Grand Forks. So not a lot has changed there.
Okay,
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, guys.
thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason,
Right.
amendment. Hell of a what?
What is this?
Working, see this, 19, you know.
Well, while Jason's getting, whatever, I'll give you that update on the water board. Jason and me and the water board, and we're hoping. Columbia Grain, Minto Ag, and the city of Minto, we're gonna meet next Tuesday morning. Discuss the bridge, so that's where we're at with that. So. Have all players got back to you?
No. Still waiting to hear back from Minto Egg. I've heard from, Columbia Grain, they'll have representatives there. So,
In the city? Okay.
but I haven't heard anything from Minto Egg yet. I'm gonna reach out to them again this afternoon or this morning to see if we can get something set on that. Some reason, or if not.
Do we have a number?
Not really set in stone. We got a close number, but I don't wanna say that, cause there's different options and we wanted. KLJ to look at it too, to make sure we're not off either, so Jason did a lot of the preliminary, but we're comfortable, but yet we wanna make sure we're close.
I thought KLJ was the one coming up with them.
They came up with what we need to do to make sure we're safe. Then I had to each of the contractors to get fabricated. And then give them my number so they can see what we're at. So.
As the county doing some, like, from the work in house there, that's where it was working on getting the final numbers put together.
After this amendment, I think you're gonna wanna do more in-house.
Unfortunately, with this amendment, not much we can control.
No. Well, you know, I had to give him something.
First, just want to give an update. What I'm sharing right now with you is all of our 2025 DOT. These are the bridge grants, semi-finalists that we had. That we sent out, everything we submitted to the DOT for our flex funds. The good news is we received flex funds for the Nash Bridge for replacement of that and the Fairdale Drain Bridge over on County 22 and County 9. So, but what their portions are that they'll pay for is the construction and the construction engineering portions. So we'll be on the hook for the preliminary designs for both of those projects. And that's the agreement that you have in front of you. We will be a cost share thing with the water board on this. We just got these taken care of. I dropped them off copies they could see, but we haven't discussed it with the water board there. But just looking for approvals to move forward so we can keep this going in the process and maybe get this season for a construction season for it to be completed.
Yeah, so the reason it's an amendment instead of just original contract for the Fairdale one here, we had gone out, we knew that. The preliminary design was gonna be the county's share of these projects, the DOT had let us know that. So last fall, before freeze up, we did go out and get field work on the Fairdale one. So that if we did get picked, we could do design and try to get it built yet, in 26. So that's why it's going from very small, like fields into full design, full permitting. That's why it's such a drastic one, but that was, we didn't want to do the full contract right away in case it didn't get picked. We just did a small one to make sure we had the information where we could roll on it right away if it did get picked.
Mr. Chairman. So this contract is just for the Fairdale, or it's for both the Nash and the Fairdale?
Just a Fairdale one.
And you said this, so we're looking at this 110 or 95 is our, we haven't done 15 yet though, that was just the original proposed.
So that one was under contract. We used like 10 of it when we did the field work.
Okay,
So, yeah.
and then you said, Jason, the water board will have, there will be some place with them as well, so we don't know totally half of, or
We'll come to an agreement with them, normally it's a 60/40.
60/40, you, okay. Paul, do you?
60.
So this is our local share then of replacing the Fairdale Bridge.
Yeah, yep, this will be our share.
Pretty nice amount for what,
yeah.
So we're looking at our share being countywide with the drain and ours, with the 120 total for what we've done so far under this. And the whole thing is gonna be probably $1 million or 600 to $1 million, depending on the box culverts and everything else. So,
is the money already there in the flex fund?
yeah.
So we don't have to worry about it disappearing?
No.
Well, I think of the good oil drilling and stuff, and where are they gonna tighten the belts or take money from if they want, so that scares me. Huh?
Just one more question, then this amount then, the 60/40 split, is this split with the water board, right? Okay, I just want to make sure I understood that correctly.
Yeah. Going forward for flex fund projects and the funding sources. Your
Gonna get slim.
companies are gonna quit drilling. It could dry up, it could get really tight, I don't know, I can't predict that one. We've been really lucky so far with what we've gotten through the grant projects from that for flex fund, right out of one, but. These funds are all there, so these are already funded projects that were set, so this is part of their $40 million that they had set for bridges. So you look at the aspect that they only had $40 million in their bridge pool, and we're getting two bridges replaced with box culverts to about $2 million, and these two in red, the Golden Township. And the one just southeast of Grafton as removals. That's a pretty good portion of it, so. Just shows that DOT knows the problems that we have with our bridges and their willingness to help out, because we're taking a proactive approach to it as well. Not always popular, but. So we have to do with the times that we're in, so.
Amy?
Is the Nash Bridge then still to come?
Yes.
So we'll expect that one as well.
Yeah.
So that one won't be as big of an amendment. We had a contract when, I don't know if you remember last summer or late spring when we did the rehab. We had done some sizing on what size we need to go in there, and it was determined to replace that gap. And then as soon as we replaced that, then we dig the other side. The beams are starting to show some deterioration, so just made the decision to apply for flex funds. And so we had a little big one on that because there was some design done already, so it won't be as big of an amendment. But there is some fieldwork stuff that we have to get straightened out with the Army Corps. Trying to see if there's some other options so that we can still try to get a bid in 26. So otherwise we might have to wait for the thaw for fieldwork to happen with environmental and cultural stuff. So.
With that one, so we did the work, the restrictions were taken off, DOT sent out their stuff, the inspections came back, where they did the other side. Then DOT sent out the bridge list, and that was number 1 on their list of bridges to be removed or replaced for the county. That's the main reason why we went and pushed it through. Is when they had it that high on their priority list, we figured should get through and approved for this round, so. The good news was when this is over, we won't get jerked around every 2 months on it. So bad news is they'll be shut down again, but we'll move forward and not have to worry about it, so.
Make a motion to approve the owner engineer agreement amendment.
Second,
Second.
got a motion and a second to approve the owner engineer agreement. Paul,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes,
Amy, Danny. Ernie, yes. Motion carries.
Next one, I just wanted to kind of go and do a really brief recap for you guys from last year's projects for bridges. The Thorson Bridge, well, it was replaced with the box culvert, that's wrapped up. County 9, County 12 chip seal projects that finished. The Swanson Bridge replacement, that's finished. The Minto Bridge, that was finished. The Rutherford Bridge, after all the delays in getting a contractor in to do the work, that was finished last fall. The Yankee Bridge was finished last summer. The County 19 projects were taken care of. The damaged bridge on the drain, on the Dipple drain, that was replaced with 2 culverts and is no longer on the bridge list anymore. And then as part of the projects, the bridge on the Cashel was removed. So those are our big funding projects that were through last year with different funds and grants and projects for BRJs through the state system, so.
There's a couple minor things on the Minto Bridge and the Rutherford Bridge that have to be addressed in the spring, there's seeding and the Minto Bridge, there's a couple of trees that will go in, things like that, so. You might see a little bit of activity there, but I mean, they're 95% done.
I would commend everybody, that's a pretty aggressive, what's up there and what we got done in 1 year. So, and it just goes to show you if we're proactive, what we can get done, if we have the money and available.
Right.
So, yeah, job well done.
Without the state funding, these projects wouldn't
Yep.
happen. Also, this next year, we'll have the Inky Bridge, or not the Inky, Pagan Bridge. South Park River, that was closed 3 years ago due to flooding, that one will be. Oh, it's already bid, that one's underneath, so we'll be getting construction engineering contracts for that here coming up soon, so that'll be moving, so that'll be another bridge replacement, that'll be a box culvert. And another removal for a bridge that is down in dirt road, so we'll take another 20 trucks, so I think next year, we'll have another 4 or 5 bridges. I also talked with Grafton Township, with Lawrence Biryanic, because I know that they really want the bridge. Down by Prestings to go away, which we've talked about in the past, and they put funding together, so we'll be in. I reached out to them and we'll see if we can work something out to move that one up on the list and take care of it in-house, and though we need to get the state funding for it. Cause we get that removed, that's the whole purpose for the one in, the southeast part of town by Hollands, so we can try and. Help out the farmers, get around town and work around it. So we'll try and see if we can move forward with that, so we'll have updates of that coming forward in the next little bit as well. So that's kind of our big bridge projects updates. I figured it's easier to show you on the map than anything else for that aspect of it, so.
There is one more, that FEMA low water crossing project, we have plans done for that. We just need to get right away finalized and then we'll get that out for bid. That's the one that's. It's between Ben Sudas and Karen Anderson's house, they're a mile north 17. Bridge washed out, it was 2 years ago. So the old truss bridge was pulled out and we've been working with FEMA to get a replacement put in there, so. Finally got all of the approvals through them. We got our 404 permit, so just gotta get the signatures on the right of way packets. And so with that, I need to set the valuation of the land that we're acquiring around. So basically just look at the recent sales in that area. There's been a lot of recent ones, but we did find 3 of them. Came up with a estimated value of $9,091 per acre. And then our temporary easements automatically go to 10%, so it'd be at $910 an acre. So we'd just be looking for a motion to approve that, and then we'll get them sent off. There is a DOT or like a state minimum for temporary is $300 and permanent $600. Only one of the parcels will be just slightly over that by like $100. So valuation comes into play a little bit on this one, just because of the size. The bridge isn't right on the section line, so needing a little more on the south side.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
I guess how do we word that? Motion to approve
Market analysis.
market analysis? All those in favor, Paul,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes,
Danny,
Yes.
Bernie, yes, motion carries.
So that's another one that hopefully will get built this summer. Hopefully get it out for bid in February here, as soon as we get all the right of way documents back and that will be. So good.
But there's two bridges right there, right?
Right where?
Right there in Anderson?
So, yeah, so the one between, that's actually between Ben's and Karen's, that one's still standing and.
It's the same.
For the inspections, but that's one of the ones that in the past, it's already been talked about that. When that one goes down, it won't be brought back. Was to my understanding that the agreement's already been had. This one will be a box culvert, low water crossing, that'll be going in there, that's just to the west of there.
Yeah, that's my bad. It's west of Ben's, not east of Ben's.
Yeah.
So it actually. Right from here. Oh, there's some eight. Right here would be that one that was washed out. So it's a mile north of 17. Actually, this map's been updated where the bridge isn't even there anymore. But this low water crossing that was already put into the west of it, you cannot take a long box pickup with the trail hitch on the back without dragging it. So there's a problem to get people in to harvest their fields through there, so that's the reasoning for this one going back into the box culvert, so we'll have access from there. We have this low water crossing, and then there's another little bridge right here that at some point probably won't have one for this world either. It's not a major, so it's not inspected by the state.
Why don't you show them where that bridge is? Between Ben's and Karen's.
This, this is the one between Ben's and Karen's, that's right, it's a pony truck, it's right here. So. This one's still standing. This is the one that got washed out. And if you look at this map, it actually. Was updated to the point where it's not there anymore. So. That one was removed right before the last flood round, so we've finally gotten the approvals to get it taken out right as spring was coming up. So there's that aspect of it. So will those be the other ones that we have coming up? So it'll be another active year for bridges. With that said, we have 135 bridge inspections this year. So. Most probably will be anywhere from $800 to $2,000, depending on if they're just inspecting and just make sure that we still have the road flow signs up or whatever, so. Of those 135, 25 of them are over water drains. So it'll be another active year.
I took it times $1,200 average, and it's a lot of money we're paying for inspections again.
Mr. Chair,
Amy?
I don't know when I think we had an annual report last year. I don't know when Tammy does those, but
She started working on it.
that would be one thing I would be sure she's educating the new. Cause I think those are quite helpful with how busy you are, active you are, to highlight those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'll be, it's quite a process that she does to go through those things, so. She does extremely good work on it as well. So that's that aspect of it, unless you have any more questions on the roads and the bridges on that aspect, Next one that you'll see on the agenda is the Chase Building meeting, we're having issues with that. Have people in there to take a look at things, it's not that it won't keep, it's that it's that you wear shorts, Bahamas are probably cold, warmer, or not as warm as the upstairs in there last week. We have damper issues and different things, the controllers aren't working, so I have ESG group working on, trying to figure out. Change their focus from the courthouse to that building to see what they can come up with, to see what we can do if for. Making some Band-Aid patches or whatever else that we can move forward with and not have to change out immediately, when we have to do the rooftop units at some point in the future as well. So I have them working on that one. The LEC, we had a pump go out, so we replaced that, so everything's working there. Even after the flushing last year, when they were here doing their maintenance, lots of start putting, going in and changing the filters on a monthly basis, because we're still getting the metal filings coming out and filling up that sock. Not as bad as last year, but it's still significant enough to have to do that. And in shop 7 in Park River, we're having furnace issues. We had to replace one, another one of the other, there's 3 in there. They weren't working because the one wasn't working, so we had to address that, replace the one, got parts for another one. So as of today, everything's back up and running, but we're having fun with furnaces right now, so. Those are the aspects that we had to do with those, going with that. So that's kind of where the update for the buildings and grounds for the heaters. The last one I have is, the one that hurts me the most right now. So as of last week, the federal government shut us down from being a training center for CDLs because we're not active enough. We don't do enough, which is good because that means we're not hiring. The bad problem is that they did it now when we did a higher position. I got 2 people that have applied for the job that are looking to do interviews for. I was calling them to set them up that the same day last week when I found this out. So I reached out to local Voltech to go through there. And both these people have prior experience in trucks. They were probably looking at about $4,500 to $7,000 to run them through the program to get their CDL. When they're down there, they'll have to take up the DOT and get a DOT test certifications. Tanya let me know that she had just talked to another county that had done some things. I spoke with Derek at Lemoore. They just sent somebody through a program in Mason City, Iowa. To go through that program, it's $900 for their class. You send them down there for a week, so you're looking at motel rooms. It's an 8-hour drive from here, so you're basically gone for a week, 7 days in motels. Looking at about $1,600 to send somebody down there to take them to do it. And when they take their test down there, they don't have to come here to take the test. They just go to the DMV with the things that they have, and they give them their CDL. So I'm looking for, I guess, guidance on how we want to do this moving forward. To be in our trucks, we require CDLs. People that apply with CDL are less and less. Every high school kid I see, I try to get them to go through the CDL program. Even if they're not gonna use it now, it's the only class they're gonna take in high school that's gonna save them $4,500 that in June when they graduate, they can't do. And from talking to here in town, there's actually ways for them to be reimbursed for that funding, for that the little bit that they have to put in for the class through different pieces. So I highly recommend our high school students in the area to make use of the Voltech and get a CDL program. Even if you're never gonna use it, it's gonna save you money. So that's kind of where we're at. I personally would like to see us that use the Iowa just because it's cheaper and faster. But what your thoughts are on sending somebody through those trainings and paying for it. We haven't done it in the past because we've had them on our books to do it, and it's compared. The Iowa session is basically comparable to what we were doing in house.
I think I got a concern that if we send them through the training and 3 months from now they leave. So if we do something like that, I would like to see an agreement or something that you gotta stay here for a year, whatever, year or 2. And then if you leave before that, then you pay us back. Cause you know what? It'd be awful easy if I come here and I learn to be a CDL and get all my permits and all of a sudden, I don't like it here. I'm gonna go cause I'm getting more money over there. That's the concern I got more than anything.
Mr. Chairman, so I do something like that in my business because it's the same thing. I give them training and then they go work for someone else or whatever is you're trying to, kind of mitigate that risk. And what we do is I pay for it up front. And then if they give it a year and they leave, they pay half the cost. If they give me 2 years, I forgive it basically. So if they leave in 6 months, they pay the full cost back. They sign an educational agreement that just pretty much states as such. And I support that. I mean, I just think it's a way for people to understand that if you're hired, we're gonna invest in you, but just know, if you flake on us, then it's your cost to bear.
I know counties that have done that have had with problems enforcing it.
How do you collect?
Yeah.
So I actually had to guard, like, the last paycheck, you know, that was garnered, that was taken out of that. I mean, they sign it, so it can become a potential legal piece. Maybe Kelly would need to be involved. And then they did pay it. She did end up paying it the rest back, so.
Chrissy, I know you and I talked about it, we were sort of on the same page about, you know, if we supply it or pay for it and then they leave type deal, so you wanna add anything or?
No, just that I would fully agree with that as well. I believe if we put that money into an employee, they in turn have to work for us for a period of time. And if they don't, they refund it. Now, the enforcement, yeah, that might get a little tricky, but at least we can put it in their contract, you know, that they do have to refund it. I actually would like a 3-year commitment, but I guess now that I heard it's down to $1,600, I'd be fine with a 2-year commitment.
Mr. Chair, our other option would be is that they pay it up front, which could become an issue, you know, in terms of can they afford to pay it up front, but then you reimburse them half of it after year 1 and then the other half after year 2. I guess that's another way if you're worried about the enforcement side of things. If they can, I guess is the only other, but.
We've never had to do this, so we'd have to create a policy for it, and the commissioners would have to approve anything for that, because it's not something I'm comfortable moving
Right.
without you guys telling me what you want to do with it. So-
I personally think countywide, if it's above a certain amount of education that we're paying, we probably need to declare what that amount is. Is it $1,000? Is it 1,500? Whatever it is. That I think it should be standardized across the board. You know, if we're investing in our employees, I don't think it's wrong to ask. I don't like to see too long, you know, that they have to, but I still think it's a valid request that we're making to make it worth it for us.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
could we possibly work with Tanya on developing a policy for that and bring it back to the next meeting? Maybe we could check with some other counties what they're doing.
I can reach out to Tanya, yes.
and if you need Kelly involved or something about the legality, consult them too.
And I can send her my agreement. Obviously, it won't be, you know, exactly the same.
Paul?
Do you have any idea why it's so expensive at the vocational school? If you can go to Iowa and get it for 900, why is it 7,000 here?
I don't, I know that from talking to local, that there's more hours than in Iowa for when they're down there for what they're gonna be doing. But for the other costs, it simply could just be because it's a newer program and they're still gonna pay off semis. I don't know. I know that they've developed it and they've expanded it and it's a good program. I have an employee, currently a full-time employee that went through the system in high school that can't tell that he's new. Granted, he grew up on a farm and been running trucks and tractors and equipment his entire life, but he's just like having a seasoned operator out there, so I think the program is a very good program you drafted. As for reasons for cost, I don't know.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
so Jason, it was my understanding we were training them. We were doing it ourselves, is that correct, or?
Yes.
Okay, so, and the requirement, and the requirements changed by federal regulation changed and we weren't training enough people, correct? So that's why we can no longer do it?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know what the requirements are, but is there any way, I mean, all our counties must need people with CDLs and need this training. Is there any way we could team up, regionalize, do something like that? And continue to train on our own, but maybe one county's the training site and maybe the other counties pay the training site a fee to train these people.
There's been different conversations about it in the past. Next week I'll be at the North Dakota Association of County Engineers meetings. I'm sure it'll be a topic that we discussed again there. I know that at one point in time, well, just this last fall, there were people that put out something to make sure we didn't have to have CDLs for highway equipment. That wasn't brought to the North Dakota Association of County Engineers, and when we heard about it, we voted unanimously for the people there not to support that. Because you get to a lot of different issues with it. If you make it where it's one of those things, where it's good for your county. You have to turn around another county and something happens, what's gonna happen to your insurance, your liabilities, as soon as you leave the county to turn around to come back, you're now outside of your zones, so. And there's ramifications that they federally with that too. If I have to send somebody down to Fargo to pick up a culvert, you're limited to which people you can have to do that. I also see if you go in and do that, and everyone else in your staff has a CDL, and you're gonna be looking at 2 different pay rates. Because to me, you do not be paying the same for your CDL operators that do the projects and these other people. Yes, we have steps and different things for it, but it's gonna take it. I think it'll take a revamp of the payroll aspect of everything with it too, and it would be a nightmare for all the counties of that aspect. It just comes with it for accountability, and we're government, we're basically a commercial system, so.
I think it would be helpful if the Association of Counties could develop a training program, because everybody would benefit from it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the North Dakota Safety Council has the written testing portions, and that's what we were using for doing it. So that was a $150 class where they had to go online, they studied, they did that. They put them in the truck for 80 hours, had them drive, and we felt they were comfortable enough that they could take the test, we'd send them down to take it. And you just had them driving with somebody else that was already a CDL driver for over 2 years, which is most of my staff at that point. So that part was really helpful for us, where it kept our costs down. Everyone was still working, doubled up with the person in the truck for a little bit, but you know, it's one of those things where I just told the guys, I said, go drive. You do a road inspection, take the semi and go drive. Just because it gets your hours and it gets done faster, just go get it done. But Southeast North Dakota has their training program. Has a system through State School of Science. I've reached out to them, I haven't heard anything back from them. It's basically a program similar to what the VOTEC is here, from what I understand online, but I haven't heard what their costs are.
What about Kirkson?
I'm not sure if they have
East Grand
Vortex.
Yeah, they have a program.
Amy?
I mean, I personally, I really wanna make sure that we work through all avenues of discussion with we literally have one in Grafton, when you think of a VOTEC center. And that they're doing this, I mean, from what you know with your current employee that went through it in high school, you know, when I think about what these programs are, it's. They do it over the course of a year or two, so it's a long time, they're paying people to basically evaluate them, you know, so there's parts of me that feel like it's just because it's spread out over a longer period of time. I really like the idea of a regional option that could be, they may be able to work with it if there's more capacity in terms of what you were doing before with just our county. But I may have a conversation with Mike Hanson too, just to see, I don't want us to be missing a potential alternative to the current program they're running that could help our county and additional counties at a lower, more reasonable cost, if it made sense for them.
So the 4,500 starts at about 40 hours worth of driving and training and classroom time. That's where they come up with their.
Where's that at?
Right here in Grafton, at the VOTEC.
But they need 80?
Well, we've made them do 80.
Okay.
They have to have 40 hours, 36 hours of driving, 40 hours of driving. It depends on where they are and what they're on those aspects of it, but we have them do 80. With 80, you know what you're getting, then they're gonna be changing rules on how their backup rules are going to. You're gonna have to be able to back up through 5 different scenarios. There's lots of different aspects that are gonna be coming up. Most of those backing regimes we'll never use, but it's something that's gonna be in the test, so they have to have it if they go commercial, so.
The trouble I see is if we're not paying for it, we can't really tell them where to go get their CDL. Basically. So, yeah. That, and I like your idea, but you know what, if I don't wanna pay that 7,000 here and I could go to Iowa, I'll go there if I'm paying for it.
Well, and the class here depends on what your experience is.
Yeah.
That's why there's the range from 4,500 to 7,000. You have someone that's never been in a truck, never driven a car, you're gonna put them in a semi, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that's all I had for you today. I'll reach out to Tanya and Kelly and see what we can bring back for the next one.
any other questions for Jason?
Jason, let's wait.
Thank you.
I gotta pat him on the back. Sunday I called him, I had a call, and then he called me and he had that auction sale out west and the bridges were getting all full and blowing in and everything else, and he went out and opened it up for the people out there, so thank you.
Yeah, Jason did it himself, that was above and beyond.
Yep.
I know the Jello family appreciated it, thanks for it.
I don't know, above and beyond, if I require the guys to go out there right now, and then I can get in the tractor and go and do it, or if they're not going, it just shows them that I'm not gonna put them in anything I'm not gonna do, so,
Yeah, it's good. Thank you, Jason.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody need a break?
Yep.
Okay, we'll take a break. I don't know what to call you, Amy or Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. Chris, are you, excuse me, Chris, are you there?
Yes, I am.
It's your floor.
All right, thank you, Chairman, and let me just share my PowerPoint that I had put together. So today I wanted to share with you guys just a brief update on where we are with the Walsh County Government Facebook page. Just as first though, as a recap of 2025. And where we are year to date, I have handled a lot of media inquiries from several different outlets, WDAY TV, the Herald, Walsh County Record. I've written 50 press releases in the last year since I've started with Walsh County. A majority of those happened, of course, last year. But specifically, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Walsh County Facebook page. So as the commission had approved at our last meeting, the page was initially created January 6th. And as you can see on the graphic here and on the PowerPoint, we've received 20 likes and 34 followers. Also, a statistic that I found very interesting. I actually just pulled that up yesterday. Our page has been viewed 3,228 times in 2 weeks. And that is with very little publicity that we're even out there. I did put a link to it on the homepage of the website, but we really haven't promoted it other than mentioning it at the commission meeting last week. So you can see based on the views here that it's gone up steadily over the last couple of weeks. It's which is nice. Our followers also, like I said, we had 34 followers. That has been gradually increasing as every day has gone on here too. We actually had a lot of followers start following during the blizzard the last couple of days ago when we were sharing information that was originating on the Walsh County Sheriff's Office page onto our Facebook page, different videos and things like that. Let me go. So we had talked the last meeting about the comments on the page. Found out that after our meeting that Facebook no longer allows us to shut down comments altogether. All they allow us to do is limit by who follows the page or is who is mentioned on the page. Kelly and I had spoken about that. Neither of those options are really possible under the law. So we have opened up the comments back wide open, not moderating, not limiting discussion at all. I monitored the comments and on our page, they are all been positive so far. So that is a good thing. Of course, is it possible that we may get negative comments at some point? Yes. But we have not seen that now, and we've had our comments wide open for the majority of about the last week. Just to take a look at some of the content that we have created on the Facebook page and how it's been viewed. Our top view was the post that I made in conjunction in working with Jason about our flex funding for our bridges. That has been viewed 1,700 times. And then the next lowest one, 372 views, was a no travel advisory that actually was posted this last week. And then the third most viewed post that is viewed 141 times was when we announced the results of the alcohol compliance checks. That fourth one, not sure how to contact your commissioners. I made a graphic that shows how you can get a hold of the commissioners. And then that fifth one was welcoming people to the official Facebook page. So the views in the first column here are how many overall views our content has been viewed, how many times it's been viewed. The second column is the viewers. That is how many individual people have viewed our content. So that's unique viewers to our content on our Facebook page. So we're seeing, in upwards of nearly 1,000 viewers on that post about the flex funds, and that's huge for us as a county. People are learning how, with that specific post, how the state supports our bridges in Walsh County. And so those are examples of the content that we are creating on our Facebook page. So I just wanted to give a brief update on what I've been doing with regard to our Facebook page. And then, again, just in general, I've been a lot of communication with media members. I know Sheriff Jurgens and I have an interview set up this afternoon on him being named president of the Sheriffs and Deputies Association. We had sent a press release out on that. We were very active on social media and in the media during the blizzard last weekend, both at the sheriff's office side, but also in working with Jason. If there was a road that was going to be impacted, we made sure we had a plan together on that. It really that was the focus of several days last week. Otherwise, it's been responding to emails from media members and just generalized contact from our media is what I've been working on. But I wanted to share with you guys that in the 2 weeks we've had our Facebook page open, by very little engagement on our end, we've already started seeing a good number of people accessing our Facebook page.
Thank you, Chris, for that update. Moving on, do you have anything else?
I don't, unless anybody else has any questions or comments.
Okay, well, thank you. Moving on, Joe, you're up next. Before I forget, I'd like to commend Ron on his appointment to the Sheriff's Association and everything else. It just makes Walsh County proud and how good you are for us, and hopefully, I guess, everybody in the state recognizes that, so congratulations, Ron.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Jill.
Just a couple of quick things for you today. One, wondering if you would be willing to appoint Ann West to our board for another 3 years. Her appointment is up this month, so I'd like it to go 3 years. I've talked to Ann and she is willing to continue to serve on our zone board.
Move to approve that appointment.
A second.
Second, got a motion and a second to reappoint Ann to the board. All those in favor? Benny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Christie?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Myself, yes, motion carries.
Thank you. The other thing I wanted to bring to you was, if you remember, last year, there was a lot of discussion about Cavalier County providing the whole services and wanting to build the other zones for that. Stanley has decided for their commission, I guess, that they will not be charging any posting fees with the new countywide cost allocation, because again, they're getting credit for our 25 employees, so they're getting more money because of us. So they will not be billing the other counties for the indirect costs, or for those, for the hosting fees, which I'm so thankful for, because I just have never agreed with that, but I haven't been able to get them to agree to meet with me. So the other thing is just for your knowledge, Walsh County is receiving, as a part of the countywide cost allocation, 34,094.33, so we got 17,047.17 in January, and then we'll get another 17,000 in July. Excuse me. So, I mean, that goes into, I believe, into your general fund, but there's not going to be enough money for the state's attorney. You know, we're going to run short on that, because we pay, I believe it's about, isn't it $5,000 a month? Give or take, for the state's attorney. Assistance. So just to let you know that will, I mean, we'll use all of this, but we will run out before the end of the year.
Mr. Chair, did we, I don't know how much, but has there been some billing for Kelly or other counties? Because we did discuss that, did we not? That
Yes.
hers, I assume it's not enough to cover this, but we are still doing that for Walsh.
Well, and so you did for last year, I don't know that it's been done this year. And you maybe didn't even know about it either, Christina, you know, I don't remember what it was either.
I mean, it was just, I that might be a conversation to have with Kelly, Christina, because it was just important that, you know, she is representing, maybe it's not her, maybe she's having the assistant chair, maybe was doing it. But that they're charging for their time when they're assisting other counties for social service issues. I don't think that had been being done in the past, and we talked about.
Yeah, it would mainly be, because it's not any of the child welfare stuff, it's mainly stuff that impacts us as a whole. So one thing she helped us with and was a great help was, one of the kids we had in care. She was a Walsh County kid, but she helped us with the ADD appeal and represented us at this appeal hearing. And so that was helpful. So again, she spends a lot of time preparing for that. If there's a complaint or if there's a lawsuit, those kinds of things are the things that she would do for the zone. So it's not the day-to-day child welfare stuff, it's more the stuff as the zone. Okay,
So that would continue then, she would continue to represent the zone and she would continue to bill the county that, am I following that right?
so I know she was going to try and keep track of time a little bit and how much, but it was just started last year. And I think it kind of came up when Cavalier County was saying, we're charging you for our admin, and I think that's kind of how it came about. Truly, some of those costs should be in that countywide cost allocation too. But again, it's hard to keep track of all of that stuff. So that's your guys' decision, if you choose to do that.
Mr. Chair,
Christine?
yes, if I remember correctly, when we looked at this last year, when we asked Pembina and Cavalier County to reimburse us, and I believe it was 5,000 per county, but maybe I'm wrong. We'd have to go back in the minutes and look. But it was my understanding at that time when we moved forward with that is, you know, Kelly's, they can retain Kelly's services when needed, right? So it's kind of like, you know, having an attorney, they're able to have access to her and there's a cost that comes with that. So I believe that's why we did it last year. I don't know if anybody else remembers, but 5,000 is kind of sticking in my mind that we asked 5,000 from each of the counties. I don't think anything has changed as far as, you know, them still needing Kelly. They can reach out to her, right? If I recall correctly, they can reach out to her as needed for her to provide her legal advice and services. It's separate from what our assistant state's attorney would do for the child protective services. That's the way I understood it. Maybe I'm not understanding it correctly. I don't know, Jill, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's correct, Christy. It's more the general operations of the zone is what she would help with. Like I said, if there was a lawsuit, if there was, we have employee issues, I would go to her are we doing this correctly? You know, what is the next step? It would be those kinds of things that she would help with. As we did.
Any other questions for, do you got anything else, Joe?
That's it.
Tell Stanley, thanks for seeing the light.
Mr.
agree with you.
Mr.
Well, we
Chair,
argued about it, and yeah, and you know what, even this attorney fees and stuff or something, it was sort of for us to get money back to do that, but you know, it's a little easier to accept if we don't have to pay the administration fees now.
Yes.
So it works both ways.
It does, absolutely. I agree. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I do have a follow-up on this though.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay. So are you saying that we're no longer going to ask for the fees for our state's attorney?
Are you asking me?
Well, I'm asking, I guess, the group. I kind of understood from you there that we maybe weren't going to ask for these fees anymore. I was thinking we would still continue to get the fees, but I think we need to discuss if we feel like we need to or not.
Yeah, I didn't mean that we were gonna quit getting the fees. I just said it was gonna be, it's easier to stomach now that we don't have to pay that, so. I
Okay,
guess I got an open mind and we could work with them or adjust it or whatever. You know,
Mr. Chair, I personally would like to have Kelly maybe involved in the conversation next meeting. If we can request and get her take for the last year and what she feels is appropriate going forward. Because I think Kelly will be fair in how she feels her time is being used and what, if there is above and beyond that we need to consider.
Paul?
Yes, as long as we're talking about this, the question that I would have is why isn't the state's attorney for the county that this child is a resident of taking care of the situation instead, and how did this fall on Walsh County? I guess I don't understand that.
Well, this particular, the DD appeal, she was a Walsh County kid, so it would be Kelly anyway. When we started as a zone, I think the other state's attorneys were fairly new, and we needed to have someone to represent basically the board if there was an issue. And so at that point, it was agreed that Kelly would be that person to represent the zone as a board.
Okay.
Okay, that's how it started.
Okay, and this fee isn't paid unless it's used, is that right?
There wasn't a fee at the beginning. I mean, it was just, that was part of that role. And I think really, again, it came to light last year when Cavalier County continues to keep billing for those admin. You guys were saying, well, how come we have someone doing work as well for the zone? How come we aren't getting that same reimbursement?
I wonder if when this zone was set up, it was kind of a learn as you go.
Absolutely.
When the state threw this out and it's been a process.
We're still learning as we go.
I wonder, and maybe I'm wrong, but when we came up with this $5,000 from each county or something, we sort of asked Kelly what she thought might take to cover it.
Yes.
So that was how we came up with the number, the 15,000. So, Denny, did you have something else?
How many kids you deal with in the zone? Just to get.
So right now, I mean, our foster kids are down, and that's something, again, with this, where we've talked with you guys before about the safety framework and that whole change of model, that we don't remove kids unless it's extremely bad. We try to get services in there, we try to work with the family, but they have somebody come into the home to assist them so that it is safe for kids. I would say we have, 30 at the most right now for kids.
Any out of state?
No. Well, I take that back. We have one child who we've had in custody for a very long time. Parental rights are terminated. She is out of state at a possible adoptive placement, which is amazing. Yeah, but other than that, that's the only one we have out of state.
Just a thank you, people, for doing what you do. It is extremely mentally taxing. When I was on that board and saw what was going on in the county, it's an eye opener. It takes special people to deal with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Anything else for Jill? Thanks, Jill.
All right, thank you. Nice to see you guys. It's been a while.
Yeah. Tanya,
Morning.
you got your voice back, huh?
A little bit, mostly, a lot better than I was, yeah. Um. So I'm happy to report today that we have offered the position to a new emergency manager, or coordinator, and he has accepted the position. So Tim Newman has accepted the position, and we're looking at a tentative start date of March 1st. Possibly before, if he can make it work out. He is moving to us from Kansas. But he has over 25 years of experience in the field in dispatch and emergency management. Started out as just a dispatcher, but 15 years of that at least is in a management or assistant director type role. So he comes to us with a lot of experience. Amy and I had the opportunity to sit down with Crystal this spring, and Crystal has agreed to serve in the interim until he can begin in March. So he will be moving here eventually with his family, but temporarily they're gonna be separated so that his daughter can finish up her school year. So any questions for me?
Base salary.
With all that experience, we did have to bring him in fairly high, so right around 80, 81.
He was
Yeah.
sitting in on the interviews and stuff. He had a lot of experience.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Tanya?
Mr. Chair, too, as part of also the interview process, I think, I feel confident, and he was not afraid of the task when we did have city involvement. The city attorney, Rob Fleming, sat in on the interview as well for just another set of ears, if you will, from their perspective. And so, as a portfolio holder, I'm looking forward to having him work with our experienced Crystal within the department as well, and to be able to continue the discussions with the city and being able to get that relationship repaired from a dispatch perspective, so.
Anything else for Tanya? Thank you.
Okay, I have one, Chris asked me to share one quick thing that he forgot to share with you. He's gonna be unavailable on this Thursday due to a medical procedure. He just meant to update this.
Okay.
You, Chris Larson. Oh, he just texted me knowing I was on the agenda, so he just asked me to share that with you, so.
Okay, thank you, Tanya.
Crystal?
So last time I was here, we talked about a training differential for dispatch. So I reached out to the counties that we compare with. Wasn't able to get into touch with one of them, unfortunately. But it's a little bit kind of like 3-2 in a sense. So Richland County, they have about 4 to 5 different trainers that specifically train new people when they come on. They do not get paid for it. Ramsey County, they have shift leaders, specific trainers, they have supervisors. They're all paid in different tiers, and along with those different tiers of pay come those responsibilities to be able to train any new people. Barnes County has 2 shift leaders who do all of their training. And then Trail County, currently they're kind of rebuilding their center at this time. So they have one shift lead, one lead dispatcher, and she handles all their training. But they don't get, I believe they did run into a situation where they had a couple of people on and they didn't have a differential for them. And then we also compare with Pembina, which is state radio, who has multiple trainers and shift leads and such. So it's kind of a little both. What I'm finding from talking to other entities is that they have quite a few different tiers and levels. You know, they have some that are trainers, that are leads, some are supervisors, and so on, and they're paid accordingly. So we don't necessarily have that in our center. We have one dispatch supervisor, which is Sheila, And so she does get paid an additional rate for that, and that's a part of her salary. So anytime we do have someone come on that's new, we normally schedule them with her. So this is a refresher. The issue we're running into is, so she has our full-time person, and then we do have one part-time person, Michael, and he's here about 20 hours a week. And so since he's part-time, he's kind of going through a couple other different people. So the ask is to pay our additional dispatchers that are training him, that he's sitting with during this time, during his training period, $1 extra an hour. So it'd be in total about $20 a week until he's fully trained, and then we would stop that after it. So, and then it would just be part other pay that we would normally pay out during payroll.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chair, is this gonna be something that could be easily done from a payroll and whatever perspective? Do you sense there being any issues, or it would just be something Crystal would report?
Yeah, Crystal would report it to us and then we would enter it in the time card.
I would just put it on the existing Excel file that I send over for their shift, you know, we have a shift differential in there as well as overtime, so I just added another column that would be listed as training differential, and it would just be that same $1 an hour, so it would just be added in.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah. Yes,
I guess I'll be the devil's advocate, but I feel like every department in the county, every employee in the county at some point is helping train other employees. Do we start paying all of them an extra $1 an hour and try to keep track of that to train others? I just think it's part of our jobs, right? As an employee, it's part of your job. And when you came on as a new employee, you were trained by someone and you kind of repay the favor. I think it's just part of our duties. Training is included. I mean, if it's really intense, it's different possibly, but we already have Sheila, who's been moved into the supervisor status. She should be doing the more intense end of the training. And I think when those dispatchers sit with other dispatchers, they're just learning from them. So I don't know that it's worth it to go through all this, to tell you the truth. So I guess I'm really not in favor of it.
To rebut that a little bit, when I first started with the county and dispatch, we had a dispatch supervisor that I trained with. Once I got majority of my initial training, learning all the programs and how to do it out of the way, then I was able to go on my own line and work with other people and have them to assist me in times of need. But I had already had my initial training out of the way with the person who was getting paid to train you. So that's where some of those different tiers come into play to be able to do that. So Sheila is our dispatch supervisor, but at the same time, you know, so she has, you know, our full-time person, but our part-time person should be getting the same level of training, which I'm confident in my dispatchers who are training them that they can do that and that people will experience that as well. I just do feel like during those times, until he is capable enough to be on his own line or with someone else where he's able to answer all the phones by himself without having someone sit right next to him to talk him through everything, that they should be getting compensated for that.
I guess I got a question. Is this training? Is this any different than Jason was here this morning and he said those CDLs, they had 80 hours sitting in the truck? I don't think we paid any of them to. So I just think we're opening a can of worms, and I agree with you, Christie. There's some, I don't know what you call it, but it's not your obligation, but you're right. And sometimes, you know, face it, if I teach somebody the right way, and my job gets easier too. So I sort of look at that as a team. And I guess I got a problem paying somebody extra to teach. Let's call it a teammate or a coworker. You know, that's part of it. So I don't know.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
So the bigger issue with this is it Michael? Or your part-time, he's a part-time employee, he can't train 40 hours at a time. Like, ideal would be that he would train 40 hours a week with Sheila so that you could get it done like someone that was coming on full-time, but he can't do that because of another job, correct?
Well, and Sheila has our full-time person, she can't train two people at the same time. So, yes.
So my other thought from a leadership potential is I think this is an opportunity for employees that are having to take on a little extra training to show their potential as a lead, you know, that is it in the future that there could be someone else that was labeled a lead or a trainer? And there's sometimes where that's the place where you kind of step up and say, I'm gonna train this person and show myself that I'm deserving of having a higher level. That also kind of plays into this, that if we pay everybody for every little extra thing they do.
That's understandable, but we've asked, I know it's been asked in the past to have specific, and can dispatch have a couple trainers that we pay this differential to, and it's only given to them when they are training. So if we're fully staffed, it's not a part of their salary, they're not doing anything different, but they, you know, they are considered trainers. It gives them another tier, it gives them another reason and a way to move up, because in certain positions, you can go from, you know, one step to the next, and there isn't really a whole lot of leveling up in dispatch. You are a dispatcher or you are a lead or supervisor, and right now we're approved to have one of those. Other entities are able to have multiple of those. So since we only have one, that's understandable, we're a smaller center. So that's why, you know, during this time, which doesn't happen very often, is this something that we can do? It's something that, you know, would help with retainment and show value in their position. You know, where we're not asking for the sun and the moon here, it's $1 extra an hour, $20 a week until he's fully trained, and then it goes away. You know, ideally, I would love to have a couple of them just labeled as trainers. Yes, Sheila gets paid for it, she would be the person to train them, but if we ever run into this position again, then we have those people set and it's already established. We don't have that at this point in time. So that's why I'm asking during this time, since it's kind of a new scenario, you know, is this something that we can do?
I guess, being we hired a new guy and he started in March and stuff, if we do it, I would like to have him look at it and see what he wants to do too. You know, maybe he said he had some training and everything when we interviewed him and stuff, so, you know, maybe he's got different ideas too, so. I'm just saying, if we do approve this, then to me, it's open to him to see what he wants to do.
I think we should just table it until he comes on then.
I don't know. You're looking at about a what, month and a half?
Well, yeah, she's actively training right now, so I think we have to make a decision for.
Yeah, we've been training since beginning of January, so, and we need to get payroll over, so if we approve this, then we can add it in for January.
So if you approved it for 4 weeks at $20 a week, it'd be what, $80?
Mhm.
No big.
I guess I could see the
Yeah.
hourly limit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's-
You're short staffed right now?
yes, so we have 5 dispatchers fully trained, and that's who we're kind of rotating through. Sheila's taking on our new full-time person, so that's our 6th, and Michael is part-time, so.
And Mr. Chair, I mean, we have had some give, so I can't say this is really precedence, because we've had some give for Kelsey and for other departments too, when we're needing extra help within the auditor's office, so I do think that we can't be cut and dry on this within departments. I'm not a big fan of people just grabbing a number of things on their plate and getting by if it's not in their wheelhouse or just to get by. I think it needs to be important that we're honoring what our employees are doing.
well, and him getting this training maybe can get on board and be full-time a lot quicker too, so what does that do for us?
He's interested.
Yeah, well, do I got a motion that we paid the $1 extra for the training differential on the dispatch?
And we have a time frame on this? You said it would be 4 weeks?
So we go back through, it'd be through January. Normally, our training is about 3 months long. You know, it depends, 3 to 6 months, but normally about that 3-month mark is when we put them on their own shift, and we still have someone with them until they're comfortable, you know, doing like a 4-hour shift or something by themselves. But about 3 months in total for them to have someone sit with them while they're doing everything. So if we have 2 dispatchers on, you know, fully staffed, have 2 dispatchers on, they're tag teaming it. So if we have 2 dispatchers on and one of them is Michael, he's gonna have his trainer sitting with him right there, helping him go through everything. Once he is comfortable enough and we've gone through enough training, and that can kind of give a little bit if he's not receiving any 911 calls, that's happened before. But then he would be there by himself. And once he's able to sit at a station by himself without a trainer right next to him and have somebody else assist him, and they're kind of working together, then he's out of that first primary training. So about 3 months is what I'd say.
Paul?
I guess I can see both sides of this. It's, but when I think about it, it's only when they're training,
Yeah.
it's $20 a week. And the reality is if you add a new trainer, you're gonna move somebody up a position steps, which is gonna cost you more than $20 a week in perpetuity. So I see both sides, and I understand what Christie's point was, that this should be part of, the question is it in the job description? I don't know. I think this is a result of the fact that we recently just changed the policy to go and try and do some part-time.
Yes.
So this is a new thing. And for $20 a week, I just.
And I think if we wanna kind of create some tiers later on when Tim comes on, that would be a good discussion to have with him and his thoughts. And it might be one of those things where you create that tier, but they're not actually getting paid unless they're actually doing that job, you know, if it's specific to training. So, I mean, that would be an option, and it's like, oh, well, here's something that we do every once in a while if we need it, and you are trained to be able to do this. And if we need you for that aspect, then you get paid for it rather than it being a part of the regular salary. So it's just an additional.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
can I just add in, the money isn't the point for me. I mean, it's such a minimal amount of money, it's hardly worth dealing with. It's more that we're setting precedents. And if we're going to pay for training in the dispatch office, are we going to pay for training in the auditor's office? We need to train in a new payroll person. Are we going to keep track of those hours for that? Whoever's going to train in the new payroll person? Are we going to train in the highway department when our admin leaves there? Are we going to pay an additional $1 an hour for training there for them to train in the new employee? My concern is more about opening this can of worms and setting precedents. That's more my concern. So just so you know, just so you guys know where I'm coming from.
It's a very good point.
So I can say, just my thought with this, auditor's office, do you have deputy 1, deputy 2, you know, different tiers, that type of thing? So that might be, you know, where it's that different tier of the management. So like we have Sheila, she would be the one training, you know, since we're in a situation where we have 2 people at once, that's where this comes into play. You know, so I understand that, you know, for other departments and economic firms. But I feel like it's not maybe necessarily precedent, but something to look at given the situation.
And I would agree with this being a part-time. We approved this part-time position. It makes it hard when you talk about training because this is not like they are there 40 hours a week. So training people, you're gonna have to be flexible on that side of things, is they're not always there at the same time Sheila is. And so we may be having to look at this. I agree that this might have to be something Tim looks at when he gets on. I'm okay, you know, from my perspective, I don't think it is. It's us working with a situation that's just a little bit out of the wheelhouse that we've done in the past versus in my feeling as far as precedent. I think we do have to look at things a little differently and just saying setting precedent, no, all the time.
Paul?
I think it's a 24/7 department too. I think that's playing into this because in the auditor's office, they're there 8 to 5, so they're there together. You know, they're gonna be together, even if it's a part-time person, they're gonna be there at the same time.
Yep.
So I think this is a little different that way too, so.
The scheduling is an animal.
Yep.
Yeah.
So with that,
I'll make a motion, we approve.
I have a second.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second that we approve the training differential for the dispatch. All those in favor? Paul?
Yes.
Christie?
No,
Denny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion carries. Thanks, Crystal. Do we have any public comments?
No public comments are submitted.
Any other business or anybody wants to talk? I guess we pretty much covered everything, so. See you in February. Thank you.
you guys.